So this segment we're going to be talking about travel in Europe worse after Brexit. The worst is yet to come, as the new systems are going to take place in 2023. At least that's what the EU's current goals are. It's been delayed a fair bit. I think predominantly because of the amount of people. I think Brexit's played a large part in it because there's a lot of British tourists going to the EU, and I think that's probably played a part in the Commission's kind of idea that things should be delayed a bit so they can get things working first time round, because IT issues are a nightmare. Look at the GVMS system, for example. So back in February, you got this guy Rory Boland, who's the one that works. He does a lot of good work for the Independent when it comes to border stuff. Before the chief negotiator, Frost, had set the gas mark on the sort of oven-ready Brexit deal he would cook, an industry boss upbraided me for over an investigation I just published. He accused me of putting out the worst scarce stories about Brexit. So effectively, this guy was talking about a no-deal Brexit and talking about all the several queues and things like that we could face. And so this man was accused of scarce stories, but that's a cakewalk compared to what we're going to go through in a bit. The investigation was titled UK holidaymakers could face queues several hours long in the event of a no-deal Brexit. You can see where this is going, to Dover, and especially because we would need, in the case of a no-deal Brexit, we would have needed things like visas and other stuff. There would have been a lot more questions because the TCA has the 90-180 day rule, so we don't need a visa. But without that, we would need visas to enter the EU. Last weekend, travellers queued for hours to cross by ferry to France. Holidaymakers have also been reporting long queues at Malaga and Alicante airports during peak periods for months. We mentioned that previously, we've gone through that. This was always going to happen, you only had to do the math. In 2019, it was estimated that if we chose to become a third country, the border checks would add an additional 90 seconds for each UK passport holder, and that's not a lot of time, 90 seconds. This is for potential questions about the purpose of your trip, whether you have enough money, and to stamp your passport, and also check if you got a return ticket. It will take a single passport lane an extra 17,010 seconds, nearly 5 hours to process the 189 passengers on a single Ryanair flight if all were UK passport holders, which is not always the case, and all were checked. At some Spanish airports, 10 planes from the UK land in a single hour, so you can see, you're talking 5 hours per plane, you're talking 10 planes, that's a big delay right there. And that's the problem. It's not the time it's taking. 90 seconds isn't that much, it's the volume of people. So far, EU countries have been relaxed about checking UK passport holders. They've stamped passports and asked a few questions, and that's why it's only taking 90 seconds. That will change in 23 when the entry and exit system EES and ETIAS visa are introduced for non-EU citizens. It will lead to more questions, checks and delays, and this is going to be very problematic for several different reasons. The EES system requires non-EU nationals to be fingerprinted and photographed at the border. That does mean UK nationals can use e-gates, but getting your finger and face in the right place will be as slow as the guard stamping your passport. So again, it's going to take about the same amount of time as the person doing the stuff. And that's just airports. No one knows how this is going to work for ferry ports. France is considering plans to collect fingerprints and other biometric data from passengers using computer tablets at the UK crossings. Port officials may lean into cars and hand over tablets. I think that probably makes the most sense. But then again, these people are typically in the booth, so it might be quite slow to do that. Crossings to France could mean tens of thousands of people each day stopping their car, rolling down their window, taking the tablet, getting fingerprinted and photographed. These checks are unworkable and threaten to close ports for leisure travellers. And because it's going to add more time, that's the problem. You're talking 90 seconds at the moment, right, for the Port of Dover, and we saw 4 and 5 hour queues over the summer. We saw the same over Easter as well, even though they blame P&O for it. The simple fact is, this is going to add a significant amount of delays, and the fact that Rees-Mogg argues we can go to Portugal and use the e-gates, that's going to be negated by this. Because the system will change now, so you've got to have your fingerprint done and also your photo taken as well. I mean, this is going to add significant amounts of time onto travel. Crossings in France could also mean tens of thousands of people each day stopping their car. I mentioned that. Alongside the ETIAS, the EES system, there is a visa-like granted in advance of travel. This system will be simple, £6, but the right to entry ultimately rests with the border guards. They will have questions for some UK citizens, leading to queues, and this is what they do for third countries. They'll ask you several questions. What's the purpose of your travel? They might ask you, do you have enough money to stay? How long are you staying for? All of these kind of questions that they ask, generally for more kind of darker skinned people, let's be honest there. To prevent travel to Europe from falling apart, we must now We must move on from blaming the EU for these queues. This week, I asked that finger-wagging travel boss if he wanted to revisit his comments about long queues. He did. He blamed the French. So we're never whoever this person is that's being asked, he's never going to resolve the issues. And the simple fact is, we can't keep blaming the French and other people. We have to accept that we're a third country. This is what happens to third countries when they try and enter the EU. And I don't know if we'll get any special agreements. These people keep commenting about cherry picking, etc. I don't know if we'll get any special arrangements or anything with the EU. I don't know what happens from here. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one.